Good morning. It's time once again to look at the Buzzword-a-thon for 2025. I've been doing Buzzword for a while now, especially since it got moved to being kind of a year-long challenge instead of just a week or two out of the year, which is not very sustainable for me. I do very few week-based challenges unless it happens in the summer when I have time. But the Buzzword is really fun because it's kind of a casual thing. I either get to it or I don't, and I usually find a way to get to it. This shelf here houses all of my buzzwords, and the second layer of books are buzzword choices I never got to. So if you want to see like where buzzword choices go to die, you can look at like my past videos on this. But I will say last year I was very successful. There were only, I think, 3 books I didn't get to, and I read something else instead because I knew I wasn't going to have time, and that is Skin of the Sea, Just Like Home, and Lake's Edge. So only 3. I managed everything else, so I got them read. So this year with Buzzword, I've pulled out from the existing pile of buzzwords I hadn't gotten to. And I also try to prioritize with Buzzword, and a lot of readathons, honestly, my Owl Crate books, because I've got so many of those, and I just feel really, really bad all the time not having read those, because they're just taking up space, and they're pretty, but if I don't like them, I'd rather give them to someone who can appreciate how pretty they are. So a lot of these are going to be special edition like owl crates and stuff to try to get through those. But let's talk about what the options are for what month and the books I chose for those. So for January, you have to use truth or lies, or like truths, lying, liar, that kind of thing. Like, don't get too creative with it, but it needs to have the word truth or lie in the title. So I did have an owl crate for this one. I have Dreams Lie Beneath by Rebecca Ross. I don't know a lot about this. I am intimidated by the size of it. This thing is like 400 pages plus. But I've read Rebecca Ross before and enjoyed her writing. I don't know if January is going to be a good month for fantasy, but it's the only other option I have. I don't have a lot of thrillers. Thrillers tend to have truth or lie in the title. So this is going to have to work for January, truth or lies. February is water-related words, which works out for me because that means I can just pop Skin of the Sea into this one as well and hopefully read it for this year. I don't remember why it is that I didn't read this. I think I just ran out of time. I needed to put an audiobook on as quick as I possibly could. But I am intrigued by this. It's one of the earlier owl crates I've gotten. And I'd really like to see if it's good. I just didn't get around to it this year. But this one is for water-related words with C. March is the word thing. And it doesn't have to be just thing. It can be inside another word, but it needs to say thing. So I did Everything, Everything. This is a classic. People have read it. I have not. And it's relatively small. Again, I'm not trying to judge by like, oh, it's so much reading, but when you have limited time to read for fun, that becomes an issue. I'm also a lot more likely to find this as an audiobook because it has been around for a while, so my library probably has it. I haven't checked yet, but this is for the word thing for March. April is animals, and I was able to pull again from the books I have not read yet and have Tell the Wolves I'm Home. I don't know a lot about this one. I think I'll probably like it, but it really just met the requirement of there is a animal word in the title. May was kind of weird because it's how to, but not how, like, so I might read How to Kill Your Best Friend. I have that book. I may in May decide that I want to read that one. But I had to really look at like Storygraph and people's options of what they put because I didn't comprehend what it's saying. It's looking for the words how and to, but it has to be directional. It can't just have the word to in it. So I think this one's going to work. We'll see if I change my mind between now and May. But I did do To Kill a Shadow. It's another owl crate that I have that I know nothing about. To Kill a Shadow, but that's directional. Like, it sort of, I don't know. This one was weird. If you got ideas for that one, let me know. But I probably will end up reading How to Kill Your Best Friend. This is the option because I need to read the owl crate, but you know. This is another one where I'm not like quite sure I'm doing it correctly. It's memory related words, but I saw a lot of people putting things with history in it instead of just memory related, and I'm like, I guess that kind of works. And I have Shay Earnshaw's book that's like the history of something. I have that book somewhere. It's ironic that I've forgotten, given the Buzzword. But anyway, I'm reading Lore. This is the one and only Fairy Loot book that I have. And she's gorgeous, but I haven't read her. And it's been, oh my God. Has it been like 3 years? I got this in 21. That's embarrassing. Because I read the snippet of it. I got an arc of like the beginning part, and I really enjoyed it. So when it came out, I thought I'd read it really quickly. And then that was college, and then I started my new job, and I just never picked it back up. So this is like lore has to do with remembering things and passing things down. Again, I think this one's kind of iffy, and I may change my mind later, but for now, this is going to be for June. It's going to be memory-related words is lore. July is a title with punctuation, so a comma, an ampersand, quotation marks, that kind of thing. And I immediately pulled from my haven't read yet shelf because a couple of years ago there was read a book with the like title of like bitter or sweet, right? And I read not The Sweetest Fruits, it's her other one, like The Taste of Salt or something. Like I read a Monique Truong book. But I had this pulled as well. I had 3 options, and this is Sweet and Bitter Magic. This is like a Sapphic Orpheus retelling. I do know that. And this is also an owl crate. There's an ampersand. That's such a fun word for such a tiny little thing. But I'm hoping I can read this for July for punctuation on the cover and in the title. When I went looking for the next one for August, which is the word with, like the word with, I was struggling to find books that I have in my possession that have the word with in it. And I wanted to get really literal with it. I didn't want to do like within. I wanted to do with. And according to my spreadsheet, I only have one book in here that has the word with, and that is Hitting a Straight Lick with a Crooked Stick by Zora Neale Hurston. So Zora Neale Hurston wrote Their Eyes Were Watching God, which I read for college and which many people read in high school. And her writing is very, very, like, reminiscent of that time. Like, she was a Harlem Renaissance writer, and I'm interested to read this. I believe it's a collection of short stories. Yeah, it's a collection of short stories from Zora Neale Hurston. I love that. It's especially important that that's in August, because August is when I start going back to school for both college and for teaching. So that'll be good to be able to pick up a story at a time and not really overthink things and have to keep up with a plot. So that actually worked out pretty good for me. September is events like wedding, vacation, field trip, whatever. I maintain the option to switch this one because I'm not confident that it hits the goals. But to me, a season is an event. So I'm doing the Poison season. This is also from my Owl Crate shelf. Again, don't know anything about it except that I have it. But I think that should count. You know what I'm saying? Like, is that character's name Lilu? I'm still going to read it. October is violent words, and I had actually a lot of books, both in my current Owl Crate and my unread Buzzwords. I can see Horrid right there. Lesson in Vengeance is right there. Forgery of Roses, Ballad and Dagger. Is it like Castle of the Curse? Like, there's a lot of violent negative words, but I ended up choosing this Savage Song because I'd already pulled it out a couple years ago and did not read it. So let me finish this book and get it off of that shelf. Bless its heart. And I like Victoria Schwab with this one. So I'm excited to read this. I don't have the second one, but if I like it, I'll pick up the second one in the duology. November is the word never, and much like the word with, I only had one book in the whole room that has never in the title, and that's Vampires Never Get Old. Cool. It's a short story collection I can read in November. November ends up being one of the busier months of my school year because we're getting ready for exams and things, and there's holidays and breaks, so we don't have a lot of time to do it. So this will be perfect. I can just read a short story like every day and finish it in a month. The last one for December is alliteration. So the first letter and sound of a word needs to, like Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. The p sound is alliteration. There's a lot on my shelf that have alliteration in the Owl Crate section. And if I don't get to Castle of the Cursed between now and December, I might change this out. But right now, the option I'm doing for alliteration is Among the Beast and Briars. So it's not full alliteration off of the title, but it's like the B sound being repeated works. So Among the Beasts and Briars, this is one of the first owl crates that I got. I think this was in the first year, maybe second, that I had my channel and was getting owl crate books. So I've had it for a while. It's time to read it. I do like this cover. I remember liking this one better than the original, which I think is like white. And it's got these gorgeous like dark pink edges. So that's for alliteration. And again, all of these are subject to change, and you may have some options that I don't know of. Feel free to comment options of things that you're reading, especially for those ones I said that I was iffy on. Like if you think you can come up with something for season or how-to that's better, please let me know. If you've got something with memory related words, I mean, I've read Memory Police, I've read Big Little Lies for Liar. I'm running out of options. But anyway, that's what I am tentatively reading for the Buzzwordathon this year. There's also fun challenges with like things on the cover. I don't think I'm going to tie that into what I'm reading. Like I don't think I'm going to try to find books that hit both things, but I may like try to read stuff with those cover challenges as well and post about them. I just don't really want to worry about pulling those out today. I think this is enough. This does enough for me. So anyway, let me know what you're reading for Buzzword. I'm always like going back to Storygraph and seeing what other people have added to the reading challenge to see if I'm on the right track. So like I'll go back to those and look if I need to like do a last minute audiobook. But this year, no. This year we're gonna do all of them. We're gonna have no problems this year, she said to herself manifestingly. What do you want? Do you want to be seen? No? Okay. He just wants to knock the camera down. I didn't mean to do that, really.